Cemetery itself had reached into his thoughts, planting the compulsion. Sleep was impossible, because sometimes we aren't alone. Hi, I'm Max, and this is Echoes in the Dark. Tonight, we're telling the story of a cemetery of forgotten souls. Chapter 3, The Choir of the Forgotten. Daniel didn't remember deciding to return. It was as if the cemetery itself had reached into his thoughts, planting the compulsion there like a seed. The whispering hadn't stopped since his last visit. It filled his dreams, faint voices echoing his name, pleading and urgent. By the third night, sleep was impossible. He packed his camera, notebook, and a small voice recorder, determined to capture what he could. The moment he reached the gate, the air changed. The stillness of the town fell away, replaced by the low hum of energy that lived within the cemetery. The mist gathered thick and low, swirling in rhythmic motions, as if breathing. The iron gates creaked open by themselves. Daniel swallowed hard and stepped inside. The fog muffled every sound except one, the faint, distant notes of singing. It was soft at first, like a lullaby carried by the wind. He followed it, his flashlight barely piercing the murk, until he found himself in the oldest section of the graveyard. The song grew louder, dozens of voices, harmonizing in a slow, mournful hymn. As Daniel turned the corner, his breath caught in his throat. They were there, rows of translucent figures, men, women, children, stood before a crumbling stone mausoleum, singing. Their faces were calm, yet their eyes were hollow, empty sockets filled with a cold, otherworldly light. The song rose and fell in waves, reverberating through the night air like the beating of a great, unseen heart. Daniel froze, unable to move. The melody was beautiful, achingly so, but beneath it, he could hear something else, a second rhythm. Whispers threaded through the harmony, layered and distorted, repeating the same words again and again. Remember, remember, remember. He fumbled for his recorder, but when he hit play, the device immediately crackled and died. The air around him pulsed. One by one, the ghostly singers turned toward him, their voices growing louder. Their faces flickered, revealing brief glimpses of who they had been. Farmers, mothers, soldiers, children, all united by the same sorrow. Daniel's heart pounded as he realized the hymn wasn't for the living. It was a dirge for themselves, a ritual of remembrance. Suddenly, one figure stepped forward, an elderly man in a tattered coat, his spectral face serene yet sorrowful. He reached toward Daniel, and though his hand was transparent, Daniel felt the faintest brush of cold across his cheek. Write it down, the man said, his voice echoing from everywhere and nowhere at once. Tell them we are still here. Daniel nodded, fumbling for his notebook. His hands shook as he scribbled frantic notes, the melody still ringing in his ears. The moment he began to write, the ghost's singing shifted. It became softer, less desperate, as if they sensed he was listening, truly listening. Then, the old man pointed toward the mausoleum behind them. Its door was slightly ajar, darkness spilling from within. That's where the silence began, the ghost whispered. That's where they stopped remembering us. Before Daniel could respond, the choir began to dissolve. Their song faded, one voice at a time, until only silence remained. The old man was the last to vanish. His parting words drifted through the air like smoke. Don't let the silence return. The mist thickened once more, wrapping around Daniel like a shroud. He stood alone before the mausoleum, the cold seeping into his bones. The door creaked, swinging wider, inviting him in. His flashlight flickered. The whispers began again, softer now, almost pleading. And as he stepped closer to the mausoleum's threshold, Daniel realized this was only the beginning. Max speaking from Echoes in the Dark. Stay curious, stay cautious, and stay tuned for the next chapter.